In the theater of war, victory isn't just about numbers or strength. It's about a hidden force, a dynamic principle that Sun Tzu calls energy. We're going to dive deep into Chapter 5 to really understand how a commander can harness this force to make an army, well, simply unstoppable.
The chapter opens with this huge, seemingly impossible question. I mean, think about it. The chaos of a vast army, the heat of battle, how can any general possibly maintain control on that kind of massive scale?
And Sun Tzu's first answer, well, it sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? He starts with logistics, with organization. The key, he says, is structure. You have to divide the whole into smaller, manageable parts, regiments, companies, squads, each with its own clear leadership. But you know, that's just the foundation. The real art, that's what comes next.
So once you're organized, controlling that large army becomes a matter of clear communication, gongs, drums, flags. But beyond that, there is a much deeper principle at play. This isn't just about moving pieces on a board. It's about generating and directing an unseen force, an energy, that dictates the entire flow of the battle.
And here we have it, the core concept. To be truly unbreakable, an army has to master two kinds of maneuvers, the direct and the indirect. This duality is the engine of strategy. It's the secret to withstanding any attack, and ultimately, to securing victory.
Sun Tzu gives these two forces specific names, Cheng, which is the direct, and Qi, the indirect. And believe me, understanding how these two elements work together is absolutely fundamental to grasping the art of war.
Okay, so first we have Cheng. Think of this as the straightforward approach. It's the army you see lined up for battle, it's the frontal assault, it's the move your opponent expects you to make and prepares to counter. Its job is essential, to fix the enemy's attention, to hold them in place. But victory itself, that is almost always achieved by Qi. This is the unexpected, the surprise. It's the flanking attack, the force appearing from the rear, the brilliant tactic that the enemy absolutely never saw coming. Qi is what breaks the stalemate. It's what shatters the enemy's formation. Commentators throughout history have really deepened this idea. They see Cheng as passive. It's about waiting, fixing the enemy in place. Qi, on the other hand, is active. It's the element that strikes the decisive blow. To put it simply, the Cheng force engages while the Qi force wins.
Now this is crucial. These are not two separate, distinct tactics. They're a fluid, interchangeable cycle. An indirect move, your Qi, once it's discovered, it immediately becomes a direct one, a Cheng. A feint that looks direct can be the secret setup for an indirect blow. The master strategist is constantly blurring the line between the two. In this interplay of direct and indirect, well, it naturally leads to the art of deception. The goal is to confuse the enemy about what you're really doing, to hide your order under a cloak of disorder, to mask your strength and lure them straight into a trap.
This whole idea reveals a paradox right at the heart of military deception. To successfully fake being in chaos, an army must have perfect discipline. To pretend to be afraid, its soldiers must have immense courage. And to project an image of weakness, a commander must have overwhelming hidden strength. It's a calculated illusion, but it has to be built on a foundation of reality.
Sun Tzu himself explains exactly how this is done. The appearance of chaos, that's managed by your underlying organization. That show of timidity, that's only possible because your forces have a deep reserve of energy and confidence, just waiting for the right moment to be unleashed.
The story of Sun Tzu's own descendant, Sun Pin, is just the perfect example of this. He simulated weakness by cutting the number of his army's campfires each night, which made his enemy, Pang Chuan, believe his forces were deserting. This lured the overconfident Pang Chuan into a reckless chase, right into a perfectly prepared ambush in a narrow pass, where he was completely and utterly destroyed.
So, from organization and deception, we now turn to the physical application of force. And Sun Tzu describes this using the physics of momentum and timing, what he calls energy and decision.
This is maybe the most powerful metaphor in the entire chapter. He says energy is the potential force you build up, like slowly and deliberately drawing the string of a massive crossbow. It's all the preparation, all the maneuvering, all the positioning. Decision, then, is the release. It's that precise, explosive moment you commit all that stored energy to a single point.
And the timing, it has to be perfect. Like a falcon that circles and waits, judging the exact moment to dive, a good commander holds that potential energy until the very instant it will be most devastating. Releasing too early or too late just wastes the entire effort. And when that decision is finally made, when that trigger is pulled, the result should be nothing short of overwhelming. The release of energy should be like a flash flood, a force so powerful and so sudden that it just sweeps everything before it, even heavy obstacles.
So you see, these principles all combine toward a single goal. When a general masters organization, deception, the buildup of energy, and the timing of its release, they create something truly unstoppable.
Now this brings up a critical distinction. The focus is on the system, not the individual. A master general doesn't rely on finding a few heroes. Instead, they create a situation, a strategic landscape, where the combined energy of the entire army achieves the goal. They use the momentum of the whole, not the perfection of its parts.
And this brings us to the chapter's climactic image. This is the goal: to create so much potential energy, to choose the terrain so perfectly that your army's attack is not a struggle, but an inevitability. It's the irresistible momentum of a boulder rolling down a steep mountain. Once it's set in motion, absolutely nothing can stand in its way.
So, we're left with this final question. Is battle really won by brute force in the moment, or is it actually won before the first blow is even struck? Is victory simply the inevitable outcome of a situation that has been perfectly engineered, or potential energy is masterfully stored and then released with unstoppable timing? That is the essence of energy in the art of war.